y'all. Hey, welcome back. This is going to be a sit down video with y'all. So as you were able to see in the last video, I introduced y'all to my new passion, my new little sector of my business, the boxes by BessieLB. If you did not check out that video, please go back and check it out. Underneath the event sector of my business, I have curated boxes. They're for different occasions, right? I am specifically going around picking specific products to go within different categorical boxes, right? So the his and hers self-care boxes is currently what I have available. Mother's Day and Father's Day boxes are coming out soon. And I am using small businesses products to include in these boxes. So that way it brings awareness to you about what's out there from other small businesses. And to know that like these things are, you know, specially handmade or really well thought out, and that these small businesses are really focusing on what it is that they want to offer, what they want to present their companies as. And so I just want to bring awareness to that. So go back and check out that video. You'll be able to get the different information of the website. I'll include my website here as well, so you can go straight to the website, check out the video that I have on my website. It'll give you a little bit more insight. Check out the About Me, so that way you can understand what BessieLB is, where we plan to go, and what it is that we offer, right? So check that out if you haven't already. But this video, as you saw the title, am I quitting my full-time job? I've been waiting to sit down and talk to y'all about this, especially since the beginning of the year, when I told y'all that I had like 2023 goals that I put on my vision board and all that stuff. Am I quitting my full-time job? Yes and no. So let me get into this, so then that way y'all have a great idea of, or a great understanding rather, of what it is that's happening. To give you a little backstory, I have 2 degrees. My bachelor's degree is in fashion design. My master's degree is in interior design for commercial contract design work, right? And I've been working in the interior design industry since 2016, full time. So 7 years I've been at this, and I can honestly say this video is going to get real detailed, and it's going to be very heartfelt, because I want y'all to understand where all of this comes from, what I feel about it, like where I'm going, where I'll go after this, all this stuff. Okay, so I've been in my field. I've worked in so many sectors of this field. If you're in the interior design world, you know that you could focus on furniture, you can focus on textiles, you can focus on residential or commercial contract work. You can get into just so many different avenues of this field, and I've worked in a shit ton of them. I always knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Always knew that I wanted to own my own business, that I wanted to work for myself, and that I wanted to have a business that is not just about establishing a business, but it's about giving other people a fair opportunity. Shining light on other people that don't necessarily get the opportunity to display their creativity, to just display what it is that they can do in life. Any and everything that I do, y'all, is based on how I can help others. I am such an open-hearted, loving person that I always try to focus on how I can better myself and help better other people. That's always my end goal. Everybody, oh, why do you do this? Because I want to see other people win, right? Everything I do, I want to bring people underneath me and see them win, see them succeed. There's too many people in this world that's filthy rich for no reason at all, right? They should be sharing a lot of what they have. There should be a cap on how rich someone can become and not have to like give back in a certain way. The whole taxing the rich, all this stuff, I don't even want to get deep into that, because that's not even the point. But people should be able to help others to a certain capacity, right? So moving forward, The job that I'm at now, it was always contractual. It was a role that I was having only for 6 months, and it was full-time. With that being said, I knew that March, the end of this month, that it meant that my role was going to come to an end. I sat and I thought about it, and I was excited because I was like, okay, this role is a part of the design world that I've always wanted to just focus on, which is hospitality design, right? Restaurants, hotels, nightclubs, you know, bars, all that different stuff. And I was excited. I got into this role and I have learned a lot. I've learned a lot. I've grown as a designer, and I want to continue to grow as a designer. The problem is that I'm so creative that like staying in this constrained bubble and working a 9 to 5 just doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me having that Monday through Friday, drive to work, sit at work for 8 hours, do my job, drive home, repeat. It's exhausting for me. For anybody that's a creator, I feel like y'all would relate. It's exhausting. And some creators, they're fine with doing a 9 to 5 and being in the corporate setting and being in all that stuff. But I do feel like it really is based on what it is that you're doing. So with that being said, this role was already coming to an end. So regardless if I decided to quit this, that, and the third, it was coming to an end. Now, am I quitting the job? I'm not quitting the job. I'm actually staying with the company for a little bit more. And I'm going to be working part-time. So I am not quitting the corporate world altogether. I am transitioning from being full-time to part-time. That has been the goal since the beginning. Initially, when I started this role, I thought, oh, this would be great. I want to be in this full-time. I want to be senior level. I want to be this. I want to be that. As time went on, I really had to like sit with myself and understand that like, this is not really what you want as far as like the structure. You don't want to do a 9 to 5. What you're doing is exciting. You're learning, you're growing, but being in a 9 to 5 role is not something that you're interested in. So I feel like with this role, it allowed me to transition a lot smoother because the ball is also in my court to decide at the end of the 6 months, did I want to stay or did I not, right? This is something that me and the company was able to discuss equally. And so it just so worked out that this role was not staying on full-time anyways. I did not want to stay on full-time anyways. So we decided something to be able to work part-time. So I am going part-time in my industry. The goal is to do it for at least 6 months to a year to see how I feel. Now, one of the bigger concerns is people may say, well, what about like a salary cut? Like, are you going to be okay out in LA, right? We all know California is expensive as okay. You know, will you survive? All these things. If y'all are just getting to know me, I am the definition of a survivor, period. I will be fine, right? And so I've worked it out financially where if I'm working part-time here, and if I don't know, work part-time at some little gig thing where I pick up little shifts here and there, I'll be fine. I will be fine. I've struggled in my life to get to where I even am today. And I understand like that mindset and that mentality has to be a little bit different. With that being said, you know, I've budgeted out what it is that I need to make to pay for this, to pay for that. And all it is really taking a sacrifice and understanding that last year, y'all, I went on almost 7 trips. 7 trips to different places, right? Okay, maybe this year, my little ass ain't gonna be going on 7 trips, okay? I'm gonna be right here. I may go drive somewhere for 2 hours and maybe pay for a decent hotel, and that's it. But that's okay, because at the end of the day, I'm getting to the bigger goal. The bigger goal is how can I succeed in my business? And that is what I am focusing on. And that's why I'm so excited to have introduced you all to the box by BessieLB in the last video, because it's going to be way bigger than this. way bigger than just starting at this part. But I needed to start at a part in order to grow and grow and grow, right? So that's what it is. I do want to give y'all a little bit of backstory. Another deciding factor on going part-time, and hopefully the transition, is that I don't need to go back into the full-time world, right? That's the hopes, is at the end of 6 months, six months to a year, is that I see that I can make it happen. And that I can continue to push and keep advertising my business so that my business will get to a certain point that I do not need to work full-time for anybody ever again. That's the goal. But another reason why I'm deciding this to y'all is to be fully transparent. I don't feel like I've been recognized and appreciated while being in my field. And I'm going to tell you different scenarios of what it is. I'm going to try to sum it up so this video is not super long. In my industry, first of all, in my grad program, there was not a whole lot of me, okay? In my particular year, there was me and there was my roommate. She's from Africa. I'm the only African American in my year. Now there was one other African American, I think she was in another year, but she ended up graduating, finishing the stuff in our year for whatever reasons. But I was the black person in my year, okay? That already told me what my odds was up against. I got into my industry and people would either speak to me like I had no clue about what was going on. Like I couldn't keep up with the rules, the codes, the regulations of interior design, all this stuff. And I was like, these people really think I'm a fucking idiot. Okay. Then I would see counterparts getting certain projects. They'd be able to go out into the field and explore stuff. They'd be able to do all these things. And I wasn't able to do that. It's like every time I was at a job, I had to advocate for myself about being qualified, understanding what it was that needed to be done, how I spent 3 fucking long ass years full time. Okay. Summers included, sometimes winter break included for certain little projects, that I knew what I was doing. And it wasn't until one of my more recent jobs, I can't specifically say the company's name. I can't tell you which company it was. But one of my more recent jobs, I was there for some time. And I felt like I was always struggling with being able to work with the client and to get my job done. And it was all because I was not allowed to go and work on the site unless I was chaperoned by my counterpart. I wasn't able to speak certain things to the client. I had to go through my company, which then went through the client. I would have ideas and people would shut them down. People would speak over me. People would ignore what I'd have to say. But then I had counterparts that came in after me and they were fully immersed in what the client wanted. They was able to do things freely. They were able to really have that relationship with the client, and I wasn't able to. And coming from where I come from, there was so much diversity. And so I never firsthand had to deal with discrimination or feel like somebody was doing something because of who I was or whatever. But as I started to take notes and just notice the different behavior, I was like, I think these people are not messing with me because I'm black. For real. I would get certain things handed, oh, you have to do this and you have to do that, but that was not told to my other counterparts. And we were doing similar stuff. And so it wasn't until towards the end that there was nitpicking. There was always nitpicking about things that I never heard of, guys, in the job, right? Oh, you need to do this differently. This doesn't work. Why are you doing things like this? That, and the third, whatever. They'd complain. And I'm like, no one's ever mentioned this to me before. I never heard of this, right? Here comes time to evaluate people. And I've never heard of this stuff, right? I'm not allowed to go somewhere without asking permission. It was just so very weird. I'd have conversations with my supervisor thinking in the one-on-ones, I can trust that my supervisor was going to do what she was supposed to do as my supervisor, and she wasn't. She wasn't handling it. The people above her was not handling it. And then it came to the point at the end that they just would complain about just nonsense. So fast forward, you know, I was in the process of trying to sue them. And I spoke to a lawyer, and the lawyer was just like, this is definitely discrimination. This is definitely some microaggressions going on, and they definitely have something against you. And it was because, y'all, I wrote like a 6-page letter to the lawyer explaining all of the different events and what was happening. And what ended up happening is I couldn't bring this to court. Because why? I did not have a paper trail. So I'm learning from my mistakes. Don't trust people. Period. Point blank period. Don't trust people. You need to always have your backup plan. And I encourage y'all out there, if you're going through stuff, microaggression, if you're going through discrimination, if you're going through any sort of hate, please make sure you have it down. Write it in an email. Even after your one-on-ones with your supervisor, write it in an email and say, per our one-on-one, Wednesday, February, blah, 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 March, whatever the info is, write it down. Because it will save you in the long run. Because at the end of the day, all it will end up being is hearsay. It's not gonna be valuable in court because it's what you have to say versus what they have to say. Okay. And so that's just some of the stuff that I've dealt with in my industry. And I've just always gotten with some people, oh, you have potential. Oh, yeah, you know this very well. But you have potential. When I tell y'all, I hate the fucking word potential. I hate it. Don't tell someone that they have potential. Rather, you should say, here are some strong suits that you have. Here are some things that I see that you can work on. Because when you tell somebody that's very black and white, very straight to the point, what they are great at, some things that they can probably work on, and then they'll understand. But when you tell somebody that they have potential, that can mean a whole lot of fucking things. Especially when you're not telling their counterparts that they have potential. When you're telling them blatantly in front of you, you're great. You're awesome. You're doing such a great job. Oh my God, you killed that last project. And then you look and you be like, but you just told me that I had potential. And didn't even elaborate on what that even means. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying there's been a lot of decisions on why I'm tearing myself off from that corporate world and why I'm praying that I don't have to go back. Because it's just not for me. If I ever have to go back, I promise y'all, I will be very specific about who I give my time to and who I give my energy to. Because it's very, very important. So, to wrap up the video, that is what's happening, y'all. This is why I am going part-time. Hopefully 6 months to a year, my business boom, and I can just remove myself from that corporate America sort of umbrella altogether. But I just haven't been treated well. I haven't mentally been feeling well. Emotionally, I have not been feeling well. And if you know me, it's to know that my heart is a pot of gold. I am filled with love, with care, with wanting to really see everybody succeed. And I did that in all of my jobs. And when I realized that I'm not getting that same reciprocated behavior, it hurts. It does. It hurts. And it's not a good feeling. And I didn't work this hard to get these degrees to get to this point in my life for people to treat me like shit. So I have to create a foundation, an environment where I treat myself the way that I deserve to be treated. And anybody that ever falls underneath BessieLB will always be valued and treated well and understood that this is not about being an employee. it's coming underneath a mentorship to learn, to grow, to be a better person themselves. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. I hope that y'all enjoyed this sit down video and that y'all got to learn a little bit more about me in this video. Comment below if you have experienced any of this stuff. Let's get deep into these conversations. And, you know, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.